room number 6 boiko babu atorosa gironde angena family bank asamange bakere simias number 0731 224000 was 0796 477853 Goosey Star Shop, a total one-stop tools station. Ina kwabere gukurigia chibel sha mitumba au asirigo lioranyare kuikeria mama tefi mitumba neduka emba ukegima asomo chobosongo ya chirenkuma asokonya bells au asirigo lioranyare kuikeria mabwate bunabono jackets, school bags, mixed bags, hoodies, baby light, house towels, ibikoro tubyabana kwikabantabane, curtains amone bindebinge inyura ibyonse niko birasekerengo kya grade 1 kuruchise cha Canada, UK, USA amona China boigo nkorobara mayigiri yogo cyase bali batagetigo cya bakoro bonchoreria bwa mitumba niko bagotuka Kisi Town Imperial Building, ground floor opposite St. Jude's Building.
Karibu mama tefi mitumba emesigo yaitogere mesigo grade 1 emesigo remia na ndi mesigo tokwana na seligo lirirense sana ekaroro magani kunyara tole kwa mafundisho ngana kiwone to chake biashara bya mitumba naenda abange siko gali nkwebuli balenga nimbwate bibesa bikego nkinda nyare ko bagingokora wakalibishirwa asema matefi mitumba oti ni kibesa kiriyo bwate elinde tunyare ko batowikaransa tunyare ko manyanga musigo kyota kere ko bagogo chakera oyorumu ya ligoli lili kasi kiriyo bwate igobono kera nyare kana ngano bwate kiri busano elibusita tuikaransa ngaligo kobolinga nkina akole
asamange bakire simias number 0727081605 gose 0727574835 niko bakwigora amatukonse jeiki mama tefi mitumba obokoryo bya bwa mitumba origene. Kisi County Government amonegatego kia finance, economic planning, ICT services and revenue management iko baku kwaligani Onyancha as a public participation aso kurebiringiri igoro ye county finance bill 2025 iwera chakitali 14 nemo wegitali 19 umutinyo gwatano limo omwaka yoiga nigomurubiri yoiga orachiko korekana buneko bwatia tariki 14 umutinyo gwatano limo sub county ya machoge barabunera korekana ya Kenya CDF Hall sub county ya Bobasi igera korekana ya Nyamache County Hall Omachoge chache amono Gembo municipality nigera korekana ya Ogembo Town Hall ochaka chinsa isato weka chinsa isanebere chiamo baso Chikumisa na ibere nigera korekana sub county ya Nyaribari chache Keumbu Social Hall as sub county ya Nyaribari Masaba amona Keroka nigera korekana imea Masimba CDF Hall South Mugirango nigera korekana imea Youth Empowerment Center chionsi go chaka chinsa isato weka chinsa isanebere chiamo baso Tariki 19 isato umutinyo yigo mwako yiga imeye sub county ya Kitutu Chache North nimea County Office Hall Kitutu Chache South County Office Hall Bonchari imea Suneka CDF Hall ochaka chisi isato weka chinsa isanebere as sub county chionsi Tariki 19 umutinyo yiga na sub county ya Kisi Town iwera korekana imea Culture Hall ochaka chinsa isato weka chinsa isanebere chamo baso mwenze mwari ganigwe
Etaya TV Oborabu Wagusi kurigereria gweta TV karibu naende asentunde ya kabere ase mugani ito aikira ase studio anyore jam korodaraja mbele you can imagine, lakini rende oikira ase studio iyo ndio ya muhimu sana ekatuchokwanera mangana yengencho atulengete intubuno mwananchi amangana yengencho mono igoro ya mangana ye budget ekarutuko we budget yego somwa ebintu mbiroro tuwenete kora manyali tangani civic education nerororo public participation yamanya kobororo so that ibirengere byo mwananchi na biro byo byabikiraniwa ase ogosomwa no korosibwa we budget tokwane budget ya 2025-2026 aiga sense ya Kenya eyorero sana nenkagerito mwaziri wa mangana yekiganche kanene ya serikali John Mbadi uchalwika ase bunge achi gotosomere budget estimates nga inkia bekeira ba Kenya going forward na kikiagarire twaretro mo director samangana civic education and public participation negendrete ase county ya Kisii nonyana ase county ya Nyamira lakini nimanye ase county ya Kisii inaendelea abananchi ngomera na bare ase Chihol ngomera na bare ase biti baro birengereri byabo ine kerengeri kya oroche karo kwaruri wikakerigia kolegas ndi gogokerwa ase ngenjo gwate bigokerwe oso wikerwa ase ngenjo manyete kyo gokora ino to chikoligereria libagalia kerengeri kyo mwananchi asokoroso gwe budget ye county amone budget ye serikali enene iyo koroswa rero intombiro tubonete komanya nganchire tumorigane maganita studio kosa korokwa korokwa Onyancha. Yes.
Isaac Dan.
Onyancha, Director of Civic Education and Public Participation. Era watotainga na nkitogwenete twakorari tangani totararu nonyene birengereri ibyo. Ochire nganchire tumwarigane garata swasenkwa na ito nchene tinganeta breakfast show Sara Nyarangi Ontita tokubatira na baminto Brighton Makori mzee wa kazi osukirake otowali baga tokore interview. Karibu sana asensema ya YouTube na tuli live etaya TV, Facebook, etaya TV, SMS namba botambe ntonyi igorete na bogututumire ujumbe nyoko batekerengererio okomenta kende yonsikirigo tokwana mwananchi kolende kebe ikiamasikani. Karibu sana director, how are you?
Asante sana.
Long time?
Yeah, long time, yeah.
We saw each other last year.
Yeah, last year. After the AUC elections.
Yes. Naritu akoroche.
Yeah.
We are happy again to have you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Egerora to tevinga what is required in tubuna bananchi asa mangana ye budget korosiwa asokuru birengereri beito. Kwani mwancho muligereria sema bia bono director egera to manyego chaka.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Bia Sara. Bia bono asokuni asoko ngarigania. Nanyo wake go isingende jambu ya ngabudala jambi. Otango matuka Monday and Thursday. Ya to jambu na sana.
Yes.
But I'm happy I'm here. Na bia bono asoko ngani ngake kabedeye. Ya to sama ngone ya budget. At national and at the county levels. Kenya they don't do the budget. And most of the counties, they'll also be having their bids as from with the next week here. Yeah. So I think this is the right time. You come in the social budget
budget.
I'm very thankful.
All right. Bia mona sana. Mwancho mule kwa gure na agokwana neke usiki yoigwete igontoli chokwane gento taliko iwa. Toto gokwane gento kere kengencho na ndebono ngusabanga tobe naye wiko mwelyo. Isaac Dan Onyancha. Itanga nturara cha kira bangana public participation. Nko nyigutole. Ili gani? But you want to understand how important it is as soborai as a governance ya matukarero toracha kiraga kwanza tumanye uchiko kogenda imetumanyenga libagari to na bananchi ndire. Let's understand very fast.
Okay. Nde amuna egendekana Kia with the construction 2010, the biggest milestone is in the inclusion of the public, all the citizens, and putting them at the center of governance or government system. That is the biggest milestone. And then it starts right from the preamble of the constitution. There's one word I'm going to take for granted, but it is very important. The preamble starts we. I'm a good divine. This is we, the people of the Republic of Kenya. And throughout the constitution, they're going to put the avalanche.
Yes.
Once Article 1 of the constitution, they're going to put sovereignty. We say sovereignty kila wege usi sovereignty
chinguru neche mwananchi
chinguru chumwananchi echia aile constitution echia wata muna aida mwananchi wako mwenye anyagu exercise osati atikabesie other sections of government like the judiciary, executive, legislature. Lakini mano bama ya kwaudi bagaja kuchora badibago chuko ko represent asa maoni ya wananchi asa serikali. Yiko ndio tena generally muna constitution ya 2010 nete bagerio na enda kwa so constitution yonsi all sections almost I don't know how many sections. It was about involvement of the public asa mangana or day-to-day life. We must involve wananchi. And maybe as time goes by we'll be looking at some of those particular sections in like a constitution equalao wananchi as to participate on their own project here.
So in short, public participation gusoko watra no ko mwananchi brengali ro mwananchi is very important.
Very crucial.
Very crucial because
then out of this then the government makes a buy-in.
Yes.
The public. There's an element to own ownership on government programs. Initially, the government could just sit somewhere, someplace. Let's say, like nowadays, you have to come with you. So you must be involved. As a what side,
yes. I think katiba ya koleta vya soko mwananchi chinguru. Ignorant at some point tulikomanyanga into our opinion counts.
Yes.
How inclusive public participation era sichi county na se national government and in terms of budget making ngakyo kubwatra ni wakore asichi county onyena serikali ene.
Just like I've said, a constitution is not very very sana. Na kama nje wanda ko involved as amana ya serikali. In anything like a public policy, and then the budget is a public policy document. The Public Finance Management Act. Na ya 2012 nende kama yako elections cha 2015 na wale ati bagadi sana na kipapo kibenta ko ba involved in short those regulations and the act talks about public approval of government expenditure and when you look at the entire circle year budget at every stage, right from planning and budgeting all the way up from finance bill. Mwananchi na wale bagari na sana aso uchangia aso consume the ones you want such a plan formulation or costing of those plans what we now call the budget na nne kijiba se chochukuliwa aso support a budget through the finance bill. So it is well been provided for throughout the four stages of budget making cycle. We would first of all formulation of the budget, with the plans. ADP, CPROP, CFSP. When you are trying to get amount the avalanche, the next the approval level. When now you are getting views, wherever an entity to the assembly. Then we got implementation, whereby an engineer they must be part of that implementation process through what we call as PMCs, public protected committees. Later on, but the audit and evaluation. An engineer, we access documents. The audit and evaluation are on a directly into what it was meant for. So those four stages, it is well provided for by the constitution. When the government the entire process of the budget cycle.
So tutaenda atambe sa Isaac Tan Onyancha. Last year a budget estimate ya inge 4.0 trillion. And the finance bill kareta obokomu.
Yes.
Today is about 4.2. 4.3, sorry, trillion.
Do
we need to worry? Because finance bill, it will come again to common Onyancha to finance that. Because I don't think they have all that money together. We can imagine a finance bill, you go support the deficit as a budget. Should we worry? What are other ways?
We can only worry if members of the public were not involved on the very critical areas. You know, like a finance bill simply means to fund
the budget,
mostly out of taxes. Taxes you could manage directly. If you tell him maybe now was 20 shillings, only achieve 50 shillings without involving me, you must explain again 20 or just 5. So we can only worry. If you find maybe even the vehicle area, manage budget so that we can make a buy-in. Public participation normally, so that you make a buy-in with the public. Government goes out, you negotiate with the public, make them see a point. You go, the only one to what extent was the public involved. Number 2, now what kind of school? Like what I've seen in maybe county or national government. You only go there because you only want to meet constitutional requirements. But that which you take to actual document, there's a difference. So I would wish that maybe whenever we go out, and that's what we have also done, like the directors of public participation across the counties, we can talk and and so them as much as possible, like almost 100% to implement. So our biggest worry is, can these proposals reflect what came from members of the public? But without which, there will be a lot of damages.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. It's very important, it's very paramount. But here is a worry of myself, how do counties or national government make sure to make sure every opinion is counting? For example, public participation, say hall Kisi town. Omonto Karimanyuanda, Sadan, all the way Baka Kisi County Hall, the same applies to every area. Very marginalized, very vulnerable. Because if you go ahead with other people's opinion, without my opinion, na whatever outcome we reach, do they have strategies, especially counties, to make sure that every person buy some part of opinions, but to give
very much so. One, location. The law is very clear. Public participation must be taken to the lowest level of government system. Like one of the most counties we do them at the ward level. Most counties are doing it at the ward level. But there are some counties like Sumu and Kakamega and Busia, West Pokot, have gone down to the village level.
The area.
So that once you go down with inside area, then the idea of it being expansive and being down to the ground, then you don't expect them to do now. I work a very long distance before they can give their own input. Number 2, there are constitutional requirements, what is called a constitutional cadre. Like us, whenever we about public participation, we talk to our ward administrators. There are people on the ground about part mobilization. And the director of public participation, I always tell them what I actually expect them on the ground. Go and form with the column and the cadre of individuals. But I always tell them, whenever you ensure that you meet these thresholds, like people with disabilities, women, FPOs, opinion leaders, you will just see it if I put a sample. You want to do as much as possible to ensure the meetings to attend as exclusive as possible. But again, sometimes you make deliberate choices. In fact, the meeting you do at least you have the people were disabled. We always insist so that at least by the end of it all, you got to call a meeting. What did it came out of the attendance list? This thing was quite very representative. And then even but the money at least them as much as possible and vary from various locations. Let it not be let it not be from one heap of a ward. It are very representative. So we need to try as much as possible to ensure that various recruits as possible. Number two, documentation. So that the biggest challenge to one of the water in most government and even national government, even is apathy. Apathy in terms of like, they don't see them
because
maybe this time over engage. But when they look at the budget and what is implemented, it does not capture
what they sentiment.
That's what we call apathy. Season apathy. So we try as much as possible when do public participation. Like whenever I take even the budget, the 70 million we are planning to the public, I will try as much as possible, along with my communication team of the county, to ensure that they capture exactly what came from members of the public. Then what is called feedback loops. How then you report back to the people regarding like sometimes it's also good you find them they will tell you anything which they feel like. They will give you like even 10 priority areas. As you say again, the party so have some good manners going back to the people. But then I think the more quantity every coming, we will only be able to do what? We will only be able to do two because of maybe let's say we are 10. Like I was here the almost five good years. If you don't know but that's succeeding years to be ADPs. So the only one good thing which you need to do is to be as sincere to the public as much as possible. In the what is called season apathy. We will try through the documentation and also feedback to encourage people that anything which they engage with us is always taken care of.
Right, all right. Any strategy chingia? Wakwanire location, wakwanire documentation and feedback, of course.
And then we also have PMCs as one of our strategies. You know, the planning and the budgeting cycle is a whole continuum of stages, right from the time of doing formulation, you identify projects, all the way up to monitoring and evaluation. It's a long stage, but we have tried as much as possible, like in our county, to be as participatory as possible. Every stage it's participatory, including monitoring and evaluation. You will find participatory, monitoring and evaluation. We must have the members of the public at the level of implementation. We have the PMCs, project management committees, made from the people around that area as a very good strategy. So that at least we don't have a county government which will take a project and it does it in its own way. There must members of the community who must be part and parcel of the implementation. And I'm happy to report, like when I meet bring all of us together as the directors of public participation and directors of planning and budgeting. We agreed that every county must have a policy to do with the PMCs. So that at least it is mandatory that the members of the public who are going to benefit from that project must be involved.
All right. At any given time, Sardan, whatever location na card whatever yes
different diversity of individuals who attend.
Who attend. Oisoko nyorange etana otia yekorende ya korwa it's very low and you imagining and say mejo abantu gangamba hasoka bange to give out their opinion. Do you still go with that list or you can again kokorobeli abantu beso kiboronge? Because to me nchakarankurige linkoranga is just a formality. And the version of you just finalize it. Two
things. One, before public participation, there should be civic education. Civic education
in fact, I was coming there, but let us enter there.
That's all about civic education. But again, through this civic education, their obligations, their duties, what they need to do. And that the public participation is not a privilege. It's their right, because out of this, it's going to be possible for them to decide their fate.
Yeah.
You go on to go to emphasize. Those are bananchi. To what the national curriculum for civic education. In most counties in Ontita and to customize in there are around 13 areas. What we get bananchi. Monaso kuba segeta in about part and parcel of government development program. So we must have enhanced civic education or some understand why they must come for public participation. That's number two, the biggest challenge to get on and we have always added in our discussions whenever we meet is something which we call thresholds. Public participation has not come up with clear guidance on thresholds.
Yes,
like for example, want to cover in a given place for you to say like one of these is really public participation because
meet the threshold.
The threshold because when you want to by the 20 words but maybe na chile manga word and that was 50 or in the camera and that was 200 okay so the book chora and that was 300 so maybe one was those 5 but all of them they call what public participation but look at the thresholds so our biggest challenge and it's not only in not in Kisi, but not even at the national level. Something which is called thresholds. And every rango for some person like indeed, and this is something that debate. How do we get the thresholds? Which defines. So sometimes, it may be a challenge to establish those thresholds, but then I've taken my officers into out of training. I don't know my use of black communication. Now I'm to administrators. I've also told them we must go out of our own way to ensure that at any one particular time, public participation, Matamakova as exclusive and as expansive and with at least good numbers. To do that, we'll just give them enough money for mobilization. And then out of that, we urge them look for good methods. Mobilization like the chiefs and the chiefs they are respected.
Close to people.
So that at least to enhance diversity and expansiveness when they are public participation forums.
We're wondering about the importance of civic education, and by the way, civic education will come first before even public participation itself. But in most cases, you're right, it's public participation. And in fact, think of it even on the newspaper. ATC. But this civic education. That is why budget they come. Babuata machi so kwa nyaranga the feedback chuma na inche already nchiri count so much making it to discouraging and let's go with the opinion or something.
No, civic information is about empowerment okuembawa omananchi actual knowledge
ndio wanatoka
the idea should come much more earlier. Currently, we got the framework on civic education. I'm up to Esther Kenyuri.
Yes.
Took it to the Senate to see wasn't a common framework on how we can reward civic education. And I think soon that policy will come out. That framework will come out, and I open a framework in that a policy because then in and then number two, we were talking about a government that is supposed to train people on how to engage with the government. Sometimes it's a little bit contradictory.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why we are advising our civil societies to take over this. Like when I'm in Nigeria, I would consult with civil societies and CSOs. I was told them the best thing we want to do most of them are engage with the government. Right? Let's not look like a woman in dress and a card. Talk when I go. tulichosomea wananchi na kila watu to engage. You know, we can even mislead them because maybe we may want them.
You're right.
We may want them, but we need to So actually, this now where like when you look at our policy, we have really advised our CSOs to come out very strongly, and there's a lot of sponsorship from various groups. On how they engage with us. But I'm happy there are some groups, Church, Nyamira, and I think it was almost like 30 counties in Kenya had a group.
Yeah.
And they also had a KDSP program. Yeah, they go focus on the CSOs to really form some groups on the best way on how they engage with what. So ideally, we cover with information. But how do we engage with this? How do we attend these meetings? What do we need to ask them? Budgeting and planning about 9 documents. In the civic education, some checklist. Like when you look at CFSP, what is the checklist for public participation? CPROP, what is the checklist? All those things, they will give you public checklist. So I can have an entry, when I attending in CPROP, I'm going to check back on the check. Yeah, so ideally, civic education, they went to go, I must say this, civic education is a very expensive, it's a very expensive exercise. Not even the national government that has afforded, and not even another county. Because when you look at FM work, and the people involved, it's a very expensive venture.
Yeah, it is.
So we are still trying to have a discussion about this. So when to go integrate at the least cost effective way.
You have proposals because it's need to get a care.
Yeah, it is.
Even if it means budgeting on civic education.
Yeah.
Because it will be of no use.
Yeah.
When mwananchi on something that they don't understand. So inakuwa very expensive, even more. Ndio maana sana director Onyancha, a director Yamangana Civic Education and Public Participation, Korolese County ya Nyamira, with the strategies for a county to make sure ngalinde mwananchi birangalibia bya kwateraniwe kiagara sovereignty and the powers belong to the people na beka tibekare wote bachinguru cyonse pine cyo mwananchi kiagara nabo egentokera akoru kebe decided kege cheba mwananchi like the finance bill ya 2024 buna ya gerete agency kaiburwa uchogocha igo mpaka bono ganoro what is really happening wana Kenya. They have known their place. That's why they're even demanding for accountability as even to be na sense ya Kenya. Kwa livolio igoro ya public participation, civic education, igoro ye budget na bogo tulikirekera ngeri kiao. What are your expectation budget ejiko somwa saa 8 rero mu basobo na yokora samagacho ye bunge. Nkyokagerete kirakorwe nkyokagerete kwenerete guchigukwanwa na ende bona gato tabi aye wakore public participation. By the way, director Bumachoga, is it Bumachoga Church or Bubasi Bonchari bakore public participation as a budget account maintain account na nevu ata na kiyakore bintu byaye abantu baru priorities na kibaroche budget yenki barata ke bakore at the end of the day because that's why bako sangilibre ngereli karoto hendrete ko gendega sadan. How do county facilitate the input yo mwananchi olio tanya aritiko nyora libaga wika on the forums physically. Nyumata betumira ne kimira. Nyumata betumira ne tisibo songo. I really wanted to give my opinion, but I'm very far. I can't make it. Ngaki mo facilitate me county mo nyora the input cho wananchi yoyo.
And the various platforms of public participation. They are either fiscal or non-fiscal. But that means when our public participation is our advertisement. Go kwa pishatora bantu bache mekutana yetu. Tuyo tegocha nkorutore our digital platforms to which they can make their contribution. Either like the same through our free toll numbers. We also find almost five free toll numbers. Number 2, into the public participation the portal. The command is on the ICT. Number 3, we also give provision for memoranda. Whenever we do the public participation, what are the means? Memoranda. Yeah. Copies by bananchi. They can write the memoranda. Okay. So they can do the public participation. Look at all those things. What came from free toll, what came in what came from our these other social media platforms, what has come from the actual fiscal policy. So we really try as much as possible. We go both fiscal and the non-fiscal.
You've mentioned about public participation portal. Do we know it? Do we understand about it?
Yeah, we also put it. We also put it in our whatever in our public participation. You find out the ones who are ICT. We normally do a telegram. So that once you answer public participation, our ICT guys are there, and like in our case, Director Sylvia, there is somebody called Dennis. Normally you find them at the portal throughout, so you find them responding and registering their feelings from various words.
All right. So very physical, through the portal.
Yes. Physical, now we are physical.
Integrate them.
Yes.
And, okay.
Yes.
That is nice. I was wondering for those people, but physically.
Yeah.
And do you provide timelines, notices to the public before public participation is done?
Yes. Most counties, like now our county, we've made a proposal that the information we take it up an inch like 7 days before. Like sending them even the CIA materials, by go through, by interpret what's in the document. Number 2, once I went through the document, they can either write a memorandum or say make calls. So yeah, it is provided for. Yes. And I don't want to believe that that's why in most cases, as a county, we've been able to move swiftly, because you find like what I'm in our case, I've kept the officers throughout the county. We go to every county, we've got champion of public participation in every department. You go to communication, I've taken the entire communication in writing as reports on the ground. You go to finance, I've got economists whom we use to do proper interpretation of the document on the ground here.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Dan. Teresa Kamdonatu litukurijinsi machiricha Karatina, Otavirengo Kwada Mega Mange. She is following Kinley, Musulu Sunera Natuli to Christian Samachicha na Cruz City. Whatever Kusalimia sana yuko ndani ya show. Aisanya Tundu Musongo Natuli Christian Samachicha Nairobi CBD. Anasema ni kusalimia sana, anafuatilia sana kuhusu mambo ya public participation and civic education from the director himself. Atib Ronrick, right? Atuli to Christian Samachicha Kyo Mabundu. Let me see whether we have some feedbacks Korwa say SMS line. Divina Morocco South Mogirango or Tevirengo Kwanya Mega Mange or Tevire, thanks for the full wisdom about public participation and civic education. And a lot of people, director, if I may add, because they don't see the essence. In public participation. And they're the very first people people really don't get to owning a public participation.
And that's what I'm we must do out of civic education. And then maybe the only thing that is to devise our strategies like our civic education.
Civic education.
It's their own obligation. And that through the constitution, and then once you have identified your thing, to follow it all the way up to implementation. So we really must do a lot of the weakest link in public participation is lack of proper, well-coordinated civic education.
Okay.
And then you see, I've always argued in most forums The worst thing again is now when the public is expecting us to want to teach them about this civic education. We must really try to look for ways and means on how to bring another body to manage what? Civic education. Yeah.
And by the way, if I may suggest, because you're the director here, about civic education, we better be serious about it. Tigaya and machinal. Tigabantu bana kusemiwa. It's about budget time. It's about public participation.
But we're supposed to be doing it.
You're supposed to be doing it.
No. Okay, fine, we're supposed to be doing it.
Yes.
We can maybe facilitate to some extent. I want to look at this conflict. I'm supposed to, there's something called public participation and oversight. I'm supposed to be oversighted by the public. Then you expect me to come and teach you on how to oversight me. I find it a bit contradictory.
Yes, I get you.
We must try
get ways.
We must get ways. The public must be aware.
Yes.
And other agencies like now the media.
Yeah, sure.
Must seize this opportunity to educate the public of their need to raise up on how to engage with the government. Otherwise, most of the government, public participation. Sometimes.
I see your point. I see.
So that in joining let other agencies, mostly like the media. The media, even though you see like whatever which you are doing, this is a perfect civic education. So I would wish that maybe the media should come out and other CCSOs and they take this role of educating the public on now to effectively oversight. Otherwise, if you leave it for me, I will tell you what I think will be.
It's okay. I get you, Sadan. But the government, let it facilitate for those people. Even us, let us be facilitated. We can do that very well for you, for the government, so that the people get to understand the need, part and parcel of any decision. Made, they go chiabanga walipitisha. Sisi atuko, watu wananza kugomea kitu, kangava kolete from the beginning. Ayana maiga adayana kwambuka Gisoi.
Oh, Gisoi is my good friend. Gisoi, I can ever.
Evelina Asero. Evelina Kemumo Asero.
Yeah, I worked with her in the account and internship.
Yes, on communication. So then on Kwanda, Goseka. And Tinga, Amaiga, and pass my warm greetings to director. So then Kwambuka Gisoi, already done.
Gisoi is my very good friend.
Nimefanya hiyo. Then take out again. How now? Take us through now. How are the public inputs documented and integrated to the final county budget? Well, make sure, though you cannot put everything from the opinions, just for the sake of saying. So how do you make sure integrated and documented very well? So I can also keep budget at least it is fairly done or it is nicely done. That's okay, that's okay. And complaining, my opinion did count, but at least majority of the opinion from the public participation counted. How do you make sure it is done that way?
No, we've got our communication team. I always use the communication team to ensure, and I've always told them they record everything from the team coming from the members of the public. You know, public participation is built on an ideal of democracy. Democracy is like but again, you see, in real sense, in budgeting and planning, there's something called technocracy. So there's a democracy and a technocracy. Democracy is what they say. Technocracy is what is technically possible. I will give you an example. Like one time, the other lower side of Nyamai, there was one place where people wanted the because I have scarfy skin, and they were like, so when we report the report, democratically we report the report to the county. But when technical sat, they were like, what is causing this scarfy? they came to discover that the source of the water was one which was contaminated. So instead of using over 20 million shillings to come up with the health center, they used only 100,000 to treat the water source. So that's what it's called, technocracy.
Technocracy.
Democracy, you want
this is what we want.
This is what we want. We want a health center. Technocracy is like, no, out of this democracy, what is technically required? So sometimes we do that kind of we joke around those two things. What do people want, and technically what is possible to respond to that desires. So when we try in as much as possible as cover everything which comes from the members of the public. But once we go back and we have reported it back, this report is given to technocrats. Technocrats will see what fits better regarding intervention. If people want clean, safe water, clean, safe water, you can get it through so many, because with them they want the clean, safe water. They want a borehole, they want water harvest, whatever, they might want tap to water. So when you go back, we give it to our technocrats. The best thing to what we can do, let us enhance what harvesting from groups. So say they have to make it, let us go and look for some money to connect them and so it is the technocrats who will sit to give you an intervention which you may want at that lower level. So we really try as much as possible to be sincere, what has come from the ground, but technocrats will decide the best intervention.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Sir Dan. Somebody was asking in Kobolinga, you know, a budget is open to amendments from public participation, open so that it can be easily amended and be amended. So, do we have examples? Was any practical this budget changed as a result of public participation? Do we have such? So that we feel happy out of our public participation, out of our involvement as citizens. This budget was changed as a result of our opinion. Do we?
Budget making has also so many sources.
Yeah.
And what we call SDPs. So that you can develop SDPs goals. We have the Vision 2030. There are our own national guidelines on thematic areas, like there are those 4 areas. About industrialization, about the health, and there are almost 4 key areas. Then we also have what governance manifesto, right? Yeah. A governance manifesto, which will be having some key thematic areas for its administration. Yeah. Then public input. So it's now for you to see on how all these public inputs become integrated. So again, on the ground, their priority areas. Yeah. There was something called Pearson pairing. Pearson pairing, where market, bagane wasne para, bagane wasne nyagitari. Second, no mundo pairing echo. Quanyora out of this 10 proposals. Give a priority. But again, agenda of the governor in his manifesto, and the totality of thematic areas of development of the county. Yeah. Now, when I live in the window, they are very altered. Not necessarily whatever which they required. Maybe the budget was not adequate, and maybe a budget again that the assembly that's called a preparation. Maybe they're getting in the area, like to the county assembly, they might resort to make everything kind of one best. On your snake, boreholes, but she are close there, 20 wards. You may not have really had a borehole in your area, but out of that kind of bill, as a county assembly, they're going to have shared all these things across the wards.
Yeah.
We will try as much as possible to give people what they want, but sometimes there might be some occasion out of factors. There might be some small changes in terms of what people might have required.
Okay. Thank you very much. Manchumurigiria eta ya TV Borobagusi, Borobota Breakfast Show, Torinere Director Isaac Dan Onyancha, Kora Nyamira County, Ateneta Mangana Civic Education, Mangana Public Participation, Ero Kweneki through service abantu manyire nkibata gweneta kokora and the structure babu atekora service yo kweneki anga abantu basomi nki yako garato kwanirenga neyiga. We are seeing a budget ya chire asense ya Kenya ngime yogosomwa rero na enderende bintombire tugwanirete tuamanya mapema. You know, this is 2025-2026 budget, next yangu twara 2026-2027 budget na ende toje tumurangeri. So here are some things you need to know. Otavirenga ki omwananchi yentonke gwanirete go but decided otararu birengeri byao, and otavire there is need otararu birengeri byao omanye nge kengo chikororo birengeri byane incheke. You need to understand first. Oruge onye tumete process yokuruga wikoso migu na kyokonyorera men send us a winga and mama yaka akafundisha vizuri ujue kupika ndio urudi kwangu. So lazima ya civic education, that's why he's in charge. Nyamira County is doing it very well. I don't know about Kisii County. You can be sure. I don't know about Kisii County, but Rende, you are very crucial to decision making. Ya wananchi.
In fact, there's nothing wrong about Kenya without public approval. It's called public expenditure management. Whereby public participation is very crucial. You can, that's why it's called public expenditure management system.
Okay.
You must involve the public here.
Now, some budget process and citizen involvement. Naro to from United States of America. Akumuli, how is public input? I think I asked this one. How is public input integrated into key budget documents like the annual development plan and the county fiscal strategy paper? Answer him that. I don't know about that.
No, we already said that. So we get forums. We get forums of engagement, whereby we take these documents to the members of the public, and using various platforms, we engage with them and then record and document all their views. We are considered at an upper level.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. Oyakoro Felicia Satande all the way from United States of America.
Yes.
So then I got to kogenda naro okuboli mechanisms that you put in place, to monitor and evaluate inclusivity in the budget participation process. What are some of the mechanisms that are put in place to follow, monitor, and evaluate inclusivity in the budget public participation process?
What are other mechanisms which we have put in place? More so, we have the feedback program. Feedback is like to engage the public. Good manners and the position requirement would be Munawika Toche, Togotevi, out of even to what to engage it. This is what we are able to do. Like in Nyamira County, we have proposed it in our policy, supposed to be done quarterly. Because now implementation is in quarter, is in quarters. So at every turn of every quarter, we're supposed to come and tell you and report back to you through status the implementation of the program or the project which the government was doing. Once we have come and engaged with you, even before we start, then we will be doing only 3 of them. Why? To acquire us. Because we answer the project at every stage. And now we are doing. However, you find that for each and every project, we have directed members of the public through the public project management committees. These are the people whom we should even be expecting to report back to members of the public as to how the project there ended. Number 2, CPF. CPF is a County Budget and Economic Forum. And were appointed from various constituencies, a constituency of traders, a constituency of people with disability, a constituency of faith-based organization. There are always 9 of them picked from various groups of the county. These are the people who are in charge in planning and budgeting process. They are involved all through, representing various units or various cadres of individuals within the county. And they push it all the way from the planning level all the way up to budgeting. So that at least when you have an entity and the stakeholders, they are well catered for. So using those kind of strategies, then you find that the input of the public is well catered for by having those people. Those people, they sit with the governor. The governor is the chairman of that group, along with the deputy governor, along with the 10 ministers, and with these other 10 people, they make 22 people who are called CPF. These are the people who discuss about government agenda of the county through the budget making process. Besides that, once you have identified on the ground at the level of implementation, toward the PMCs. Project management committees. So it's well catered for. And all those are to ensure that views of the public have been well catered for at the level of identification and at the level of planning and at the level of what? Implementation. Right.
All right, that's very fine. I can go call him the director, the mission or some agenda to make sure even to the right direction. But I hear izungumukuti ama ikosi challenges before, during and even after this civic education process, public participation process. What are some of the hiccups mokora umera and how do you normally encounter them?
Challenges mostly season apathy. For the Torah Moyo, we was with about to bring it with the government. Why? Because lack of proper civic education. Or my knowledge number 2 challenge are those thresholds that are established. Somebody might ask you, what's the basic requirement of a public participation cohort? Public participation. Number 3, finances. Meeting members of the public, engaging with them in their various forms. So it's not a very cheap exercise. Sometimes I'm going to work on the sitting allowance. And counties don't have quite a lot at their disposal. Yoko nyora muna banya ko satisfy needs Japanese across like a count like Kisi, but almost 45 wards, and then you are not very sure about your water. Sometimes it's a challenge, and then most of the counties are not quite integrated. Say for Makueni and other counties like Kosia and Pugoma and Omapewa, that recently most counties, they are not come to internalize the urgency and the importance of public participation, so they can have a very good budget line, a reservation enough to run public participation programs. When we share as county directors, that is a problem across the lack of proper funding on this. And then another challenge here is reflection. In our last document, like the budget, the COP, the control of budget, we insist to see a consistency of what came from our Nainchi all the way up to what is implemented. You find that in most counties there's no consistency, as in what is being implemented. Seems not to be what came from Abananchi. And I can want to to engage, but they don't end up or whatever which you agreed the next time. So those could be some of the few challenges about public participation, but above all, again, lack of proper information, empowered individuals who come to engage with the government. Sometimes documents are a ground, they might be very technical. So Onyancha ordinary understand. But then we have also come up with something called budget ya Onyancha. Almost of the documents which we take to the people, we always say that let it be a popular fashion. Popular fashion is a document tailored to the understanding and comprehension of the members of the public. But you find that most times documents you can say it's only officers because of their technical language used. That also what America make a little bit out of place. Also going to very effectively public participation.
How now do you make sure there is consistency? Because whatever about COB, inconsistencies, very common as a challenge in your docket. How do we now make sure that there could be consistency? Very challenge anymore.
Documentation. You must do documentation, and then to make very robust feedback loops. Because if I come and engage with you, I must report back to you. You see, when there's a feedback, they have a very strong tool of accountability. Because what am I going to be accounted for? Is that which I engage with you. But you find, most government don't have that kind of good manners of like now coming back and tell you exactly, reporting back to you that which was possible and what was not possible, and the reason why that was not possible. So the only thing which you can do is to enhance on our feedback program.
Yes. Another thing, Sardan, you mentioned about funding, Nere challenge, not in the Mira County alone, not in Kisi County. It's all over.
Even nationally,
Even nationally. But we cannot sit back. Just because it's a challenge everywhere. You must do something about it. Because there is a very crisis all over, then it is being declared a crisis, and a way, a solution has to be found. So how do we do that? Because we need civic education. They were interrupted in any way because of lack of funding. It has been a very big challenge as funding public participation. But in our caucus, directors of public participation across the country, to agree, the best thing to occur, local legislate. In a way, like in Yamira, our policy requires that the 1.5% of end project should go to public participation. Once it's in law, it is respected. And this is what most countries have done, starting with Makueni. Makueni is our mother and father of public participation because of Kipita Kibwana, the former governor. Kipita Kibwana, along with the deputy, Madime, somebody, along with the almost 8 of the CMCs of that county, they came from the civil society. So integrating public participation was the best. In the year 2016, they went to Onyancha County, was your page marking. So out of their own experience of putting some small fraction of the budget into public participation, it really worked out very well for them. And most counties, including Yamira, that's what we have done. We have put it in our policy that in any one project, 1.5 of total cost should go to public participation. So that at least the issue of funding is well catered for. And then most of the projects are done by World Bank. Like one of the KDSP program, they would demand public participation has become a key result area. That the public must be involved, the public will get a part and parcel of end projects. And it is like it is a demand. And out of that, I think most of our counties, Yamina included, they are put it like compulsory. There must be a fraction of a total amount of money put in a project which should go to public participation. All right. Thank you so much, Sir Dan, as that proper explanation. as far as civic education, public participation, budget is concerned. But about to get sense ya WhatsApp line ya 07 URC TV autumira SMS bado ni WhatsApp na roko kwa bikora Evelyn otevire kwane mega mango otevire this is sensitive and this is educative. Congratulations my sister sir, this is my sister anyway. She's a teacher in Naroko County. Anakunywa maziwa. Amesema umeelezea vizuri sana. We really need this every now and again. We could be engaging director every now and again. Before we ask director, do you think public participation in a way, corruption or misallocations of funds? How? Yes.
Public participation. I said, like, I'm a kind of a World Bank program called KDSP2. KDSP2 talks about 3 key result areas. One of them is KRA3, talks about public participation and oversight. Oversight really means like it holds the county accountable for these programs. So public participation, as it were, when you engage with the members of the public, they are in the know. And then I've told you the entire process of planning and budgeting, all the way up to monitoring and evaluation. It's purely participatory. Nowadays we talk about participatory, monitoring and evaluation. Why participatory? Because the public is involved. At a time when the public is involved in everything which should do, all the eyes of the public in the as a project, then it is remote. Someone to imagine because public participation, as it were, is a tool for accountability. We go as one inch. And then I say, room ata cement chidenga kwa beka wonje nchire committee wa kwanet mechange nchire kanchibe wa kwanet, so they are part and parcel because of another kind of oversight. No was openness, your color it becomes to be very hard for anybody.
Yes,
I can frankly saying public participation is an accountability tool.
Accountability to our leaders or that is why it's paramount thing about public participation. Take room on have involved.
I think in fact, like in Makweni, what we discovered when I went there is that members of the public have been empowered.
Yes,
you cannot in the payment process. There's a section whereby a chairman of a project must sign for you to be paid. Why? We come, members of the public must be part and parcel of the project, right from implementation all the way up to payment. Who and you on your chairman with sign, you can't be paid. We told you to make for us some tea of this amount of quantity of cups, this amount of milk, this amount of sugar. You have to test.
That is okay. Asante sana. Leonida, Leonana ladies wanatuangalia kutoka asensemo ya WhatsApp, asita ya TV. Enambeli eli bado ya SMS, nerere ase WhatsApp. Watavire congratulations. Salimia sana mgeni wetu ndani ya studio. We are really learning a lot. Thank you so much. Entire breakfast show. We are sana Leonida. Na wali bando mga natuko pongese kipindi na wali boko wali mabuli because we are here to learn. Paka diogo raneli ororo na ororo kalimanyeti. That's why we are here. Tobe Kate Eveboronge Elker Montago is at the end of the day. So Egaro Sadana Director Isaac Adana Onyancha so Gorumega, every person of Okanyoro
that's true.
So make decisions at the county levels, government levels, Ekere Mokorangarunga Reroto Miranet and Valley Onyancha Senkoro Valley Tongoro Onyancha.
Oh, my name.
When you're a Moichoi, Mokobanga Abantabaka and Vanya to Valibatan. Then Bas Nunaki. This public participation. Your opinion matters. Your participation matters a lot. How is the voice of the youth and urban population captured, especially in the digital platforms, as much as public participation is concerned?
Constitutional stations on CADA. of who to attend in whichever form, be it fiscal or separate, it's well provided for. And youth is one of those segments. Let me say, like my experience, and I think there's a newer pricing. There's a new trend in the whole country. You've seen what agencies are doing. Of late, let me say that the youth are they're really very participatory. Yes. And very active. Like the mail does the same thing which you do. But again, you see the best way now you can engage with the youth. You know, you go as per the trends. Yeah. We haven't done one ever into digital platforms. That's why I'm not in Nigeria media. We always create non-fiscal platforms like social media. I mean, it's awesome. You look at their contribution there, it's amazing. But again, even in our fiscal meetings, the percentage of the youth, there are quite many. I had a chance of dealing with a group called ADI, Agile and Harmonized Development Group. I think I in the mirror, all the CSOs, on why they should be up in arms to participate in the government programs, more so when it comes to planning and budgeting. So out of that kind of education, you find them in the mirror. A number of groups, they always are, and mostly by the youth. They come and they come with their checklist for each and every document. And we've also purposed that whenever we make an invitation, kindly ensure that the youth come and participate. Okay. But as per the trend of things, you find them so much active on social media, and that's one area which we have enhanced. They are fully integrated, and that's why you find that nowadays 2 people who are under our portals because of the numbers of individuals who attend. And then we've gone into social media like WhatsApp. Most of the WhatsApp groups of Yamira, they're whatever. With a lot of youth. So we do post into those groups and ask them at a certain hour, can please get to our portals and let us engage. So we would some very deliberate. Why? Because then, you know, we are making this budget for posterity. Yes. So the easiest way now to make a buy-in with the larger section of the population, no going involve the youth. Okay. And that's exactly what we have been able to do. All right.
Somebody is here, Richard. Okay. What practical steps can ordinary citizens take to involve in their county budget making processes? J ni steps za common mwananchi ni zipi kuhakikisha kwamba pia yameshirikishwa katika utengenezaji wa bajeti ya county usado siasa korwa? Yes, thank you so much.
One, let him be available in our forums of public participation. Let him also be available as a form public management committees. Number 3, into what yes. You know, all these things starts with the representation. Yes. Must be somebody or people-centric. Yeah, sure. So whom do you elect? Maybe at the ward level, all those 3 things are operations. So he must be available. He must be ready to attend all our meetings, and then he must also be ready. Yeah. If he cannot be a member of the PMCs, engage the PMCs. Okay. And above all, as a those and have active as a all
right. Yeah. Pia mono sana. Nkiora tabi mwanchu murigereria as karotoko rekora ngani ye budget tumanye kurigereria gazeti ye akego to analyze na yasini. Alafu we call it a day if you allow me. I felt like gazeti ya Daily Nation. Yeah, but even to get the winners of the budget because already ba kwanire no nyeto yeganyirire de sanane bali getibike gana ganto shena yasini ngo alafu to manye gukora but inkiora there be both citizens and government officials about the role of public participation in process in budget and civic education. Inkiora there be wananchi to carry home as the director of civic education and public participation.
One, we just have Avalanche. Don't be silent.
Yes.
Don't be silent.
Mokira, bakira.
Your voice is your development.
Yeah.
What the development. Number two, as leaders, public participation is not a privilege.
Yeah.
It's a constitutional requirement. Respect it, facilitate it, and implement it. It's not a privilege. We would only be given a privilege. We as having leaders, but public participation must be a privilege. It is a constitutional right. Let us respect it.
It's a requirement.
It's a requirement.
It's not a favor.
It's not a favor. It's not a privilege. Let us respect it. Let us facilitate it. Let us implement it.
Okay.
Simple.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Let us facilitate it. Let us implement it. Yes. Implement is the word.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, what we call as a system apathy. Otherwise, if you fail, you fail this year, you fail next year. The other year you cannot have you cannot have public participation.
People not be there.
But above all, report on it. Report. You know everything which you do as a government. If you don't report on anything which you do, like in public participation, it is required by Section 92 of the County Government Act. We must always annually report on the progress and management of public participation. So we must always be very encouraged then to reports. How was our success and where was our challenges and what's our learning?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sir Isaac Dan Onyancha. Tumesahau kitu kweli. Have you forgotten something? We are good. I think we are good.
We are good.
Anyway, thank you very much. So, Raila first budget because it's broad-based government.
Yes, yes.
What about there are some winners? But where I didn't get it right, can have a Brighton, Namataina, watch Director Dana akikuja tumuulize it's about affordable housing. Oroche yanyole 1 billion asa mangana affordable housing board sijui ni nini, then 1.5 for casual laborers, and I was concerned where do I come in mkirende ngona chirwa mangana housing levy. If already there is a budget, kama kuna hii budget na hii pesa iko, then why should I ni katu kutoka kwa
hiyo budget imetoka wapi? Hiyo budget hiyo pesa si imetoka kwa levy,
imetoka housing levy,
imetoka kwa housing levy. That's why it's but anyway, housing levy, it's a very controversial issue.
Yes, yes.
Me as somebody who is being as a civil servant, it's a very controversial issue. Sometimes I might not be very dispassionate in talking about it because it's affecting us in such a way. But then you see what we are saying and what is worrying us is that Ruth and what they bat.
Yeah.
This housing levy, but you're calling the living now, that bill which gave life to that levy. You see now later, when I say to make we just was in markets, make other infrastructure away from housing. So it puts us into a lot of worries, because then the biggest question will be like somebody like me, it's like a multi catered for. Maybe I can directly gain out of this because I get it to require me to buy this, to buy the house that I'm already paying for. So there are a number of gray areas.
There's a lot of diverting. And again, Sadan, basic education, parents pay for the invigilators and examination. But God, thank God, as a budget there is 5.9 billion. But believe you me, Director Dan, iko bana chitekorwa se secondary school capitation, bana chite 3 billion from the budget ya secondary school capitation, wamekata 3 billion.
Yes.
From the amount chirichikwana no ande chira underfunding yokora bakumananga.
You should understand the science in the art of budget making. It's a balancing act. You move from here, take it here.
But why don't you do it?
But when you try to look at, budget and planning. It's all about key thematic areas. Government they give a priority. Any one sensible government, be that the county, national, or another country, there are key areas. And some when they health, education, agriculture. Those are key thematic areas. You mess up with those areas, you are doomed because it affects people directly. A nation will only grow if we can create wealth and good health for these own individuals, and then you empower them through education. So you empower, get good health for wealth to thrive. And you find most counties, most governments, now pasted their government agenda from that area.
All right.
We empower them by giving them good education. Number 2, you give them good health. These two combined will create wealth. So, the government ya Ruto ekiere nego balance. Ego someone education. It's not really adding up anything or something. But by the way, they are completely forgot about the exams. Out of our noise which we made, that's now when
But now my problem,
just within education.
But my problem, Director Dan, me mahali wanatoa to balance.
Yeah.
You look, State House is allocated close to 2.4 billion for facelifting and renovation and all that. But you can manage to go to education, more secondary, or primary, or universities, mochako balance moina. When you've not touched State House.
It's called government priorities. And the budget making for somebody should tell like, it is too political. And the interest, personal interest and the interest of the data administration, you're going to get a little bit lopsided.
Yeah.
But above all, take a look at the budget, again, whatever that is affecting this budget, our debts. We brought to pay a lot. And the servicing our loans has become a very big challenge. And that's why coming get a very keen when they can answer already what areas that they need to prioritize. And there are areas which you can never compromise. Don't compromise education, don't compromise health, those two things. You can joke around with other things like now that there's no area set house. We can do, you see like recently from nowhere, another settled in normal pay. Those are things which you can easily avoid. So really, we're depending with the country's priorities vis-a-vis other things because of like the debts. People borrowed money from out. We don't see anything.
Right.
And out of that, then you find that the essential areas or programs are compromised in that way.
Okay. So what are your expectations of today's budget? What is your feeling? Director, you've done your part. Civic, public participation. You're waiting for the announcements, the estimates. What are some of your expectations and your general feeling?
Listening to Mbadi, Mbadi is just an approach guy. He has a lot of interest. I want to go balance. One, I don't expect it to be a very populist budget. You may want to be very austeric in terms of what is supposed to go somewhere. But then and and create. may not really go towards what it is intended to do. That's Jasha, levy, is it NSSF?
Yes.
They are actually looking for money. So you expect a budget to get so much balance in such a way that they must also public outreach, like it happened the last time. They might want to be very careful. And I'm on a finance bill. Finance bill is a revenue raising measure. In such a way, they must open another agency pricing, and they are fair warned. If they joke around with the budget and even it is finance bill, finance bill support the budget. So I expect him a balance, and then more like a taxation. The majority of the directive will happen to manage, but some things will be hidden, even in services, and directly affect maybe for somebody like in my payslip. But you find I will be paying more in services provided than what is got from me.
All right, good. And last but not least, never go worry about what is trending now. As I said, Kenya is about and pressure from all over. Eliud Lagat, who is the key. The center stage of what is happening still in Nairobi. Are we really serious?
I've written a lot about this. Almost every week I read about two thematic areas. If you are keen, you are in the Kisi press, you will see me write those things. Occasionally I do get dockets in other mainstream. I wrote about this. And it really trended. This was the most macabre tragedy that ever happened to this young man, Ojwang. But I'm happy. Initially, we thought it would not really attract attention like what happened to Kasipul Kapondo, slain MP. But I like the national psyche and the way both parliaments have come out strongly, top leadership, and then the public about this issue, and this is most unfortunate thing which would have happened. But in general, India was like all these other things, like all these other people back on it's just millions. The new culprit is Langat. Langat should be held responsible. Even requirements of public service will definitely require him at this particular time, not really necessarily convict him, like a step aside to give a fair chance of thorough investigation.
He should have done it.
He should have done it
immediately, but now.
But again, you see, we are also saying, even the president, unless we are reading proper connotation, by this time, the president, anyone the given leader, should have pronounced this thing very carefully. Yesterday, but I think he didn't go the full hog. The full hog should have been, Lagat should have stepped in, he should have demanded Lagat to step aside. So that we don't start saying now, he's sparing Lagat because
anyway, to me, if you ask me, I feel like this will come like, it has come like now, like a storm, and it will cool down like other cases from behind. That's what I feel.
Well, but I don't think so. Up to where it has gone. You know, there's a wider picture. There's even an international community, we've got investors, and then the kind of picture Kenya is a very unsafe place.
Right.
If we can have one to when they feel comfortable in a police station, losing his life, it's not something which you can easily wish and really wrap it down. It has some national consciousness. In with just the rest of the world, how investors feel like an international community. Is Kenya a good place to invest? Is it a good place to live? Does it have some systems that which you can believe in and trust and maybe work with? So I think they must. I don't see, because even the debate during both the Senate and the Parliament, the entire House, the entire divide of the House, the entire device, the two divides were one thing.
Yeah, even so, there is a justice in our in our system.
No, it is because of pessimism. Yeah, very believe us. There's nothing good which can come out of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Maybe your last parting shot before you walk away.
Kwanza, thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome.
We've taken their contributions very positively, and we'll be moving with some time.
Right.
Participation, it is their right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Director Isaac Dan Onyancha, the Director Kora Manganat Civic Education na Public Participation kwenye Nyamira County. Muna reirigo yote tisa komini jitokezeni. Kiagera, you have all the rights, you have all the powers. Muna mwananchi kwa involved, kwa part and parcel of decision making. Amangana manya kwa boronge. Yatokore rabo asavono tolinga na Frank Mayingo kwa sensa ya camera, Joshua Auta kwa sensa ya transmission kolende. Kuira na tolina Brighton Makori, tora ara kuanira kengi director to tebiri gigaiga egere tuganyete guchakoereria Diana kwamboka Gisoi na Cyrus Aziz asamangana akwana netaya chinsainye neno sutoskare kuira na tole asegekegeke kirobosio.
Etaya TV Oborabu Wagusi. Etaya TV Oborabu Wagusi.
Karibu Mwalimu International Hotel Kisii kwa mandhari ya kupendeza. Tuko na vyakula vitamu vinavyopikwa na wapishi waliohitimu kama vile samaki, nyama choma, kuku na aina zote za vyakula vya kienyeji. Conference hall kwa kufanyia mikutano aina yoyote, vyumba vya kulala vya hali ya juu, vinywaji mbalimbali kwenye bar na restaurant, mahali pa kubarizi, mchezo wa pool table na parking ya magari ya kutosha. Pia unaweza fanya booking kwa sherehe kama vile harusi, baby shower, graduation, birthday, sherehe ya watoto na zinginezo. Tunapatikana mjini Kisii, Mashauri nyuma ya jengo la Mwalimu Sacco. Kwa mengi zaidi, tutembelee au kupiga simu kwa nambari 0792267062. Mwalimu International Hotel, at your service. Karibu Harken Academy Kisii, shule ya kisasa ya bweni na kutwa kwa wavulana na wasichana inayopeana masomo ya CBC kuanzia preschool, primary na junior secondary. Iko na mazingira matulivu, walimu waliohitimu na wa kutosha, maktaba ya kisasa, mahabara ya kompyuta na sayansi, madarasa na mabweni ya kisasa, mahali pa wanafunzi kujifurahisha na pia wanakuza talanta na kutia fora katika michezo mbalimbali. Vile vile wana usafiri wa kutosha. Kupata nafasi ya mwanao, watembelee Riatwenya, kilomita 2 kutoka mji wa Kisii, barabara ya Kisii Marani, au piga simu nambari 0755331318. Harken Academy, the future is here. HK Pharmaceutical Center ni nyagatari gutumika chinchira ciekerero kumureke bimo biao na kumanya uburoire nigo babwata mariogo yemete arosirie n'ubumanyo bonene akorwa chinse cheisco bunere ya Hong Kong, USA, Malaysia na United Kingdom. Nigo babwata mariogo yabana na boigo ayabanta banene ngorwa bara maroire buna diabetes, high blood pressure, chinengo arthritis, cancer, chinyigo, obogomba lo libido asaba sacha na yanda manke
inche no manyagitari iri nikema obangi korwa senyagitari ya HK International Herbal Center sumuchuito bosongo nainde marimo rwira ali tukubwenia na ya tukurukanga lifestyle diseases use chronic diseases amarwaira ali ago swasu mubere kwanyoranga ekerobo mubwasoire nigo bokwarigania amarwaira amange kwanyoranga umubiri usalikire nainde twakonyira abantu abange kuri umwaka 2011 nainde nigo tubwate chi machine chikorigereria umubiri w'omugima ebimo byao byonsi ipi biritokonyora byasoirwo gutwara umuchando nainde ntubwata mariogo na marioga ya igaitu nigara yemete nainde turuseti chinse cheisiko ao nainde nigara marioga arosiri no umanyi gwa iguru muno ayo akonyara kurusia amarwaira yaboniga kurwasa umubiri itu yani bunabona umurigereria ayande niga gusibia manyinga ayo itayo umubiri arusia amafuta ali amabeto kurukanga cholesterol ali akogoteye meki yagera amarwaira na gotonyora marioga ni gotokurusia se mu Hong Kong eyere ni China ayande nkurustora sensemo ya India na ayande nkurustora sensemo ya South Africa na ayande na ayita Kenya agaiga bali no kuganya wokonyora imirimo bayiche senyagitari yaitu banyora maegerio egere tubwatera naso bwamo obweni abantu baitu gusi nonya nisiko ya gusi
asamanke bakere simya se namba 0717176383 gose obatarire memo chobosongo ange nesteji echigari HK Pharmaceutical Center obobwenia oraigene
Etaya TV Oborabu Wagusi
ne nobwate ebiasara gusemega uraganie tukubikirira itangazo ebene sukuru eduka inyagitari inyangi gose amatanga vono nabugutwakira esimi ase namba inoti sana ibere isato isano isato enoti kumanya mange mono nabuigona bugututarira asensemo ya Nyamataro Etaya House mwese twabariganirie
njia mbili sawa msiwa maisha ya binadamu njia Bwana iendayo kusimu
nimaite muna nimbwato muchando bwa maisha bonekera ngubuka itangani gento ngote Nyasaye ngumutebia ndasinjira kera ngosoka kisa cyane narite kubuka ni 12 iguru nasoka nagenda nachikuna cyane uyebinde ibi ebitoche nando nachikuna nirende bayiboli bane asokolera ukwana nabo kwabeta obumana obwambere tebwale ngobo kongwa sinchukuru nakinyete asokobera no muiboli nabeta no muiboli orenge koro kumama
nkimamu mino atakorerete
atandirete asinjo nikale goteba ngani mbwatu muchando bwa maiso asite yali kunyara ko bagakungira
akagotiga
agantiga ibi
nkaya gotigete
antigete gari asangi burete igintu kia mbere tegekone kunyumite na kaibure nga muiburi ngo twarara bana baranchite na baratanchiti lakini yo kitu je na kerori ono nabo kwengonyora abakumina bengominyo toro sienda giru babanga bali chetinkuri narara iko igachigikira umwana utsaiti uri mimba kitaya umenye kubutoro bokumo koraki ondigie sende kuna ongera likoboko na incherigi etairi bondi bya ni kusulikira kurige kibiriti nasoka nanyoraga chance nasoka guchiskonera nachikugira isiko umeto isiko kaningo omenyera ubugima butari ubwao bogokobera buri buya bono bugima buri bukuru kubwane ubuna buntete menyera ngana ki ubuna bukuru kubwane asingi nchonche no muko nanjira teyo ndache kunyana ko bayinkuru boko nyibondo gwese buchasa abantu nayenda ikawa andake nakia kwera ngwetera ya igonsi
kiraba onye turakeigwa na gokerora imejeta ya TV
bunabotambiriane Brighton Makori
Eliane Diana Kwamboka Gisoi
Bona kira rituko li Jumatatu
na Nche Job Ongaga
Jumanne
Cheni Gonkoro kwa Eric Bosir
Ncheriane Evelyn Osero
Jumatano
Nche Joseph Mose
Alhamisi
Gonkoro kwa Eric Maube
Naboigo Ijumaa
Cheni Gonkoro kwa Eric Bosire
Neikendi ya gubono ni gitabe Vuna botambe kera rituko li Jumamosi
Nchinkuru kwa Sara Nyarangi Ontita
Naso kwekura na koyechaka eike
Eritriane Evelyn Osero
Naboigo kurwa setaya Chiko soli
Gonkoro kwa Kefa Nengo Bosire
Igo tuyariganirie koenekya bunubura bwobo nkora babule nagoika asole Eta ya TV uburabu bwagusi
Erioba liagure sabato ya chakire Onyancha Sairazaziz the senior antidote me yomroberio bwerioba rie sabato rituko re juma uchakira chinsa 12 chiamogoroba egati yayale nakroberire ngamona the request hawa
kuna jambo moja nataka kusikia masikioni mwangu jambo gani kwamba Yesu anainuliwa katikati ya wana wa Mungu Bwana akuita uliyetekwa wewe uliyetekwa kwa uzinzi na uchawi
Marandia no morandia kruase Biblia enchenu
lingana lya Nyasaye nigolera etaya asa magorane naende likaba oborabu asenchera ngoeta
oigo kwa time egati ya yande amange
piga kelele mpendwa piga kelele useme kwamba Yesu yu hai ukikata milima itaimba na kumhimidi Mungu na kumhimidi Muumba wa vyote Bawaibara bairuruke bachenge ibakonganya kyo makene yosi bara bairuruke Baigombaoroke wabesi wasipe na bamanore lwechinguru tokorore igora serioba
Nyora kuchakara chinsa 12 chiamogoroba rituko re juma ime yata TV obarabu bwagusi
Ekiye asomogusi nekegusi